All right. Welcome back, boys. Again, I think I have some women watching the channel now. I think my statistics say that there's like 2% of women viewers, in which case, how you doing? Wow, okay, that was horrible. Anyways, let's get into the trade recap. Realized PNL of $1,380 per account over 5 accounts, as you can see. I was actually pretty wrong about the overall bias on the day. I was expecting to see a much more aggressive move down. But let's just get right into the trade recap. I'm going to start from the top down. So again, just kind of what I saw going into market open and what led me to take the trade that I took today. So the first thing that I saw on NASDAQ, keep in mind that I was only able to see up until here, right? Because this is the candle that had market open. So what I saw is we had this 4-hour imbalance, a 4-hour BISI, buy side, let me make sure my mic's on. Okay. We had this 4-hour imbalance, a buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, fair value gap, whatever you want to call it. We had a bullish reaction off of this a handful of times, and then we actually end up inverting this gap, also getting a change, not a change in the state, but we have a break of structure to the downside, on the 4-hour. So that was my first two confluences that made me want to go bearish today. It was also the fact that on the 1-hour, we had actually displaced to the downside, creating a 1-hour sell side imbalance. Again, that's one of the main things that I look for when I'm looking to enter any type of trade is I want to see, is this manipulation or are we actually displacing lower? And when we have a sell side imbalance, that is quite literally a displacement between buyers and sellers. So we created this sell side imbalance, and overnight, we actually ended up putting in this SMT with the S&P 500. And this wasn't like any small ball SMT. Like this was a really, really big SMT. ES had swept all-time highs, and NASDAQ failed to do so. So those were the main things that made me feel really, really bearish today. Again, I was really confident that price was gonna go a lot lower, and I especially felt that way when market opened. And the first thing that we saw, what day is it today? 23rd, yeah. And the first thing that we saw on market open was this huge sell-off, right? We immediately break structure to the downside. We're rejecting off of this higher time frame fair value gap. We also put in an SMT in that fair value gap. So this is all pointing bearish to me. So I immediately drop down into the lower time frames. I wait a couple minutes so I can see this SIBI form, just because, again, I want to make sure that we are not manipulating. So we put in a sell side imbalance, we displace lower. And I guess one more thing that I should note is my liquidity targets. I was just targeting resting lows. I was mainly targeting these lows down here, and then these lows and these lows. I'm going to get rid of these gaps because they're kind of hard to look at in the break of structure, because you guys now know it's there. But yeah, these are the main lows that I was targeting. I was definitely targeting these double stacked lows, and I also did see these lows down here might be a target as well. So again, looking on the 2-minute, I was just waiting to see displacement on the lower time frames, and then I wanted to see retracement into this gap, which we got. If we drop down into the 15-second, or maybe not, maybe we're not going to see that. Let me go full screen here just in case I accidentally dox myself. I don't know what just happened to Top Step. Maybe I'm not doing a trade recap today. Okay, I think it's pulled back up. Oh, but the quality looks like shit. What the hell are we doing? I guess it just doesn't like the 15-second. Okay, anyways, here we are. So I opened up the 15-second, and if you guys are new to the channel, or if you're reoccurring viewers, you should know that I use the 15-second for my entries pretty often. So we ended up consolidating a little bit within this range, and I'm too lazy to pull it up on the S&P 500, but we actually did have this internal SMT as well on the 15-second, which this is just a part of my entry. This is just something that I was keeping mind of. And then my entry was off of, we consolidated. I wasn't in here. Hold on, let me double check it one more time so I can see the exact. Oh, wait, no, I can just do this. Chart executions. You'll see that I did have like one small entry here where I was like kind of rushing, but you could see it was break even. But I ended up entering on this candle here at 21,375. Okay, so 21,375. So I entered after we created displacement. I had my stop loss at the top of this swing low right here. I was initially targeting all of these resting lows down here. Actually, this risk reward doesn't look right. Does it look right? Let me double check. 3R? Was it I thought it was a 2R. Maybe it was a 3R though. Was it a 3R or a 2R? Oh no, it was a 3R. I'm tripping. Yeah, it was a 3R. And you can see that I rode this move all the way down. Yeah, I risked about $450 on that trade. Right? Double check. Yeah. So then what ended up happening was we created displacement again. So I looked, this was kind of PO3 on the much lower time frame, right? We had accumulation, we manipulated these highs, and we distributed lower. I just waited for us to create displacement, and we created a series of down close candles. If I wanted to get a way better entry, I could have waited to see if we tapped into here, and then I could have made, it's 14,000 today, but I thought this was a plenty fine entry. So I just waited for us to create displacement, which we got. I then entered the trade, and I went break even on this trade once we took out these lows right here. So then I went break even, and then I ended up bailing out a little bit early on this trade right before we ended up taking out all of this liquidity resting here. But yeah, that's basically the trade that we took today. That's all the news that I have. Up 7K on the new accounts. Again, this was the first time trading these accounts. We passed them on Monday. We did not trade yesterday. So it's a good start to the accounts. We are about 35% of the way to a 10K payout by the end of the month, which is going to be super, super sick. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Live stream at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time or Chicago time, UTC +5.